Did you know that London becomes home to one of the biggest street parties in the world every August? Why does this carnival exist, and when did it all begin? Welcome to my channel. Today we're exploring the Notting Hill Carnival, a celebration so colorful, so vibrant, and so powerful that it has turned into a symbol of multicultural London. And before we go any further, let me ask you this. Where do you think my accent is from? Write your guess down in the comments below. I always love reading your answers. Now let's step into the streets of West London during the August bank holiday. Imagine this. You turn a corner in Notting Hill and suddenly you're surrounded by a sea of people. The sound of steel drums echoes in the distance. A heavy reggae bass line shakes the pavement, and feathers, sequins, and bright colors flash in the sunlight as dancers move past you. The smell of jerk chicken, fried plantains, and spiced corn on the cob floats in the air, making it impossible not to stop at a food stall. This is Notting Hill Carnival, and it's not just a parade, it's an atmosphere. It's music, food, and freedom all combined into one. It's also history, a story that begins in the 1960s with London's growing Caribbean community looking for a way to celebrate their culture, share their traditions, and bring joy to the neighborhood in a time of social tension. And here's something you might not know. This carnival started small. The first official Notting Hill Carnival was held in 1966, and it was organized by community leader Ron Laslett, with inspiration from the work of Trinidad-born activist Claudia Jones, who had already been running indoor Caribbean festivals to fight racism and bring communities together. What started as a modest gathering has grown into an event that now attracts over 2 million people each year, making it one of the largest street festivals in the world, rivaled only by Rio de Janeiro's Carnival in Brazil. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. In this video, I want to take you through everything: the history, the costumes, the music, the food, and of course, what it feels like to actually be here, right in the middle of the action. So grab your imaginary carnival costume and let's explore. To really understand why the Notting Hill Carnival exists, we need to go back to London in the 1950s and 1960s. This was a time of big change for the city. After World War II, Britain encouraged migration from its Caribbean colonies to help rebuild the country. Thousands of people came from Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, and other islands, settling in London neighborhoods like Notting Hill, Brixton, and Ladbroke Grove. But life wasn't easy. Many Caribbean families faced racism, poor housing, and economic struggles. Notting Hill itself was far from the wealthy, colorful neighborhood you see today. Back then, it was overcrowded, with rundown housing and tension between communities. In 1958, racial violence even erupted in the area during the Notting Hill race riots, leaving deep scars on the community. Out of this difficult backdrop came something extraordinary. A woman named Claudia Jones, a Trinidad-born activist and journalist, believed culture could be a powerful weapon against hate. In 1959, just months after the race riots, she organized an indoor Caribbean carnival at St. Pancras Town Hall in London. She called it, "A people's art is the genesis of their freedom." These events featured Calypso music, steel bands, and dancers, giving Londoners a taste of Caribbean joy and resilience. Claudia is often remembered as the mother of Notting Hill Carnival. Fast forward to 1966, and we meet another important figure, Ron Laslett, a community activist in Notting Hill. She wanted to organize a street festival to bring people of all backgrounds together. She invited Trinidadian musician Russell Henderson and his steel band to perform. Once the steel pans hit the streets, something magical happened. People danced, sang, and followed the band down the road. This moment is seen as the birth of Notting Hill Carnival as a street event. From there, the carnival grew year by year. At first it was small, mainly local Caribbean families dancing and playing music in the streets. But word spread, and soon the event attracted more people, more bands, and more cultures. By the 1970s, sound systems blasting reggae and dub had joined the steel bands, adding another layer of energy. By the 1980s, the carnival was drawing hundreds of thousands of visitors. And today, we're talking 2 million people flooding the streets of West London, making it the biggest carnival in Europe. But here's something important. The carnival has always been more than just a party. It has been a stage for cultural pride and political expression. In the early years, the parade gave Caribbean Londoners a chance to show their heritage with pride at a time when discrimination was common. Over the decades, the carnival has been a symbol of resistance, of resilience, and of joy in the face of adversity. And yet, it hasn't always been smooth. There were times of tension with the police, especially in the 1970s and 1980s, when heavy policing led to clashes. The media often painted the carnival as dangerous. But for the communities involved, the carnival was, and still is, about freedom, identity, and unity. Think of it like this. If Rio's carnival is Brazil's way of showing its samba soul to the world, then Notting Hill Carnival is London's way of showing the heartbeat of its Caribbean community. And today, this history still echoes in every drumbeat, every dance move, and every plate of food you see on the streets during Carnival. It's not just entertainment, it's culture, memory, and identity all mixed together. So, the next time someone asks you, why does London have a carnival? You can tell them. It began as a celebration born out of struggle, created by people who wanted to heal divisions and bring joy to their neighborhood. And it has since become one of the world's greatest festivals of culture and unity. If you close your eyes and imagine Notting Hill Carnival, the first thing you'll probably think of is the music. It's the rhythm that makes the streets shake, the soundtrack that carries people from one corner to the next. Carnival without music? Impossible. So, what kinds of sounds fill the air at this festival? Let's break it down. Steel pan bands, the heartbeat of tradition. One of the most iconic sounds you'll hear is the steel pan. This instrument was born in Trinidad and Tobago, crafted from oil drums and turned into something magical. At the carnival, you'll find steel bands lined up on trucks, musicians hammering out uplifting melodies that can be heard streets away. The steel pan has a unique sound, bright, metallic, but also warm and joyful. It's impossible not to smile when you hear it. And the bands aren't just playing Caribbean tunes. Over the years, they've performed everything from Calypso to pop hits, blending cultures just like the carnival itself. If you wander through the parade route early in the day, you might catch groups of children performing on steel pans, a tradition passed down through generations. It's not just music, it's heritage. Calypso, storytelling in song. Next, we have Calypso, a genre that's more than just music, it's storytelling. Originating in Trinidad, Calypso songs often carry witty, playful, or even political lyrics. At Notting Hill Carnival, Calypso competitions take place before and during the event, with singers battling it out for the crown of Calypso monarch. Imagine standing in the crowd, listening to a singer weave a story about modern life in London, all set to a rhythm that makes you sway. Calypso reminds everyone that Carnival is not only about dancing, but also about giving a voice to the community. Soca, the pulse of dance. Now, if you really want to dance, then Soca is where the action is. Soca is short for Soul of Calypso, and it's fast, high energy, and designed to make you move. Think big bass, infectious beats, and lyrics that are often about joy, celebration, and togetherness. When a soca truck passes by, the crowd erupts. People jump, wave flags, and dance in unison, turning the street into one big moving party. Soca is the sound that transforms Carnival into a true explosion of energy. Reggae, dub, and dancehall. The London vibe. Of course, London's Caribbean community also brought another powerful sound. Reggae. From the smooth, soulful voice of Bob Marley to the heavy bass lines of dub, reggae has been central to Notting Hill Carnival since the 1970s. Walk down a side street, and you'll find massive sound systems set up, blasting reggae, dub, and dancehall. These sound systems are legendary, often the size of a small house, stacked with speakers that make the ground shake. DJs and MCs keep the crowd moving, blending classics with new hits. It's here that you feel the London Caribbean connection the strongest. Reggae and dub became the soundtrack of London's black community, and at Carnival, it's celebrated loud and proud. Sound systems, Carnival's soul. Speaking of sound systems, they're not just about music, they're about identity. Each sound system has its own style, crowd, and reputation. Some focus on reggae, others on soca, some on dancehall, hip-hop, or even jungle and drum and bass. Walking through the carnival, you can hop between different sound systems like moving through different worlds of music. One corner might have a roots reggae vibe, while the next street over is pulsing with drum and bass. Carnival sound systems have also given rise to some of the UK's most famous DJs and artists. For many, this is where careers start, where London's underground music culture meets the mainstream. A street symphony. Put all of this together, and you have something magical. A street symphony. Steel pans, Calypso singers, Soca trucks, reggae sound systems, and dance hall DJs, all playing at once, blending into a chaotic but beautiful soundtrack. It's not organized like a concert with one stage and one headliner. Instead, it's alive, unpredictable, and free-flowing. That's what makes it unique. You're not just watching a performance, you're part of it. When people say Notting Hill Carnival is about freedom, the music explains it all. It's the freedom to dance how you want, to sing along, to lose yourself in the bass, and to feel the joy of community. Whether you're a lifelong Londoner or a tourist experiencing it for the first time, the music grabs you and makes you part of the carnival spirit. So next time you think of Notting Hill Carnival, remember this. It's not just a parade, it's a soundtrack, one that has been playing for over 50 years, growing louder, prouder, and more diverse with every beat.